Hi, welcome back. It's been a while since the last video. I decided to take a break and get some rest before coming back. Because today I'm starting a new series of videos. Remember, you can download my previous game, Paper and Boy, on itch.io. Link on description. This series is gonna cover my journey developing my first mobile game from scratch. This is a project I started on March 2020, way before creating this channel. I spent that whole year working on the game, and what happened? Well, I got stuck. I couldn't solve the issues I had. The story of how I started this project is quite interesting. I was learning programming in college, and I wanted to do games. But I didn't have any classes related to game development. So instead of taking the time to study game development on my own, I jumped straight over on making my first game. And did it work? Well, it wasn't a waste of time, but I could have learned way faster. The first thing I did, when I had the main idea of the game in my mind, was the artwork. This game's concept is centered around a knight that climbs an infinite tower, while escaping from a dragon that's trying to knock you down. I randomly chose the tower as the first thing I would work on. I made this first version that basically sucks. Then I took a tutorial on how to paint rocks, and after some hours of work, I came up with this version. It's been 2 years since I painted this, and I still like it very much though. The main mechanic of my game demands that the knight can only grab on these special rocks to climb. I used these climbing holes as a visual reference and made this. Then I made a shitty sky background, exported the tower and sky on the same image, put it on Unity, and made a super basic code to make the sprite loop on itself. And that is when I realized I knew nothing about resolution. This resolution wouldn't work on different screen sizes. When you change the screen size, these blue bars appear because the image doesn't fit all the screen. The best strategy is to leave some space on the image that can be cut when you change the screen size. So naturally you don't put important stuff on the edges of the sprite. Cause the background wasn't looking so good, I reworked it completely. Now it's a long image that even goes from day to night. There's probably a more clever way to make this day-night cycle, but it works fine to me. This time I put the background on a different sprite than the tower. Then I changed the looping speed of the background to give it a parallax effect. Now the background moves on a different speed than the tower. I also made some improvements to the tower sprite to fit all mobile resolutions. Now when you change the resolution, the tower stays the same, the sky background is the only thing that changes. Depending on the device you're using, you'll see more or less of the background, and it doesn't interfere in the gameplay at all. I was feeling pretty confident with the project so far. The next step was to spawn those climbing holes on the tower. I created 3 empty game objects on the scene, just to mark where the climbing holes are gonna be spawned. Then I made a script that takes the position of the 3 objects and uses it to spawn the holes randomly on those 3 points. Next, I made them move at the same speed as the tower. I wanted to implement a system where the speed of the game increases with time. Something like Subway Surfers. I spent a long time trying to make this system, but nothing worked. So I stopped working on the code for a while, and got back to art. I tried some character designs for the knight, till I found this one that I really liked. I improved it a bit, and made some color variants that are gonna be in the game to be unlocked. I also made a pair of wings and this shield to be power-ups the player can use. The animation was the last thing I did related to the character. I started with this draft and turned it into this. I think it looks decent for a first time doing frame-by-frame animation. Then I moved to the UI area. I used sky and clouds as a theme for the buttons and icons. Here's how the main menu looks. By the end of 2020, I took a break from development to study more about game programming. Eventually, I got busy from college and other stuff and didn't work on this game at all during 2021. This year, I'm determined to get back and finish this project. Devlogs are a good way to keep motivation while working on something. So I hope you guys can follow me during this journey. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Bye.